Hey guys, it's Radagast Wiz. I'm painting this here wall, and this is what I'm doing right now.
Yesterday, I worked 14 hours, and it was all just working through Macmillan's stuff, and I didn't even really think about vlogging.
I also worked 12 hours yesterday. I think Todd worked 14 hours yesterday.
A lot of people put in a lot of hours yesterday. What we figured is that if we can finish one Macmillan video every day between now and when we go to VidCon, that's every day, not every work day.
That sounds like a lot.
It is going to be a Herculean effort. The next 18 days are going to be kind of intense.
What kind intense?
Ha 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 ha.
Do you think Abi would be proud?
Ha 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 ha. Absolutely.
Ha ha.
Ha 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 ha.
The weather in Missoula changes so quickly. I can't think of a time when I lived in California that it went from being like sunny to that quickly.
This is probably not true anymore, but I think a couple years ago, Montana had like the record for the largest temperature swing, something like 30 degrees to 80 degrees in a day.
That seems like it would cause a lot of flooding if it happened in winter / early spring.
Boy, it sure did.
As we've talked about before, we have a deal with B&H where they loan us up to a certain dollar amount worth of equipment at any given time. Since our GH5S got stolen, we are renting another one from B&H. Our GorillaPod also got stolen with that camera, so that is that. We got a different lens this time. The one that was stolen, it was a Vedra 25mm. We're trying out the SLR Magic Hyper Prime 25mm. I don't know what Hyper Prime means, but there's also the anamorphic adapter that can go on the front of the Hyper Prime, so we can shoot in anamorphic mode. Wow. Here's the GH5S again. This is the lens. It's heavier than I expected it to be for the size. Like if you drop this on someone's head, it would do some damage. I'm now pulling out the anamorphic adapter. It's bigger than I expected. Ooh. So the anamorphic adapter screws onto the front of this thing. Look at this.
That is,
monstrous.
Wow. Wow, that's heavy.
Yep.
Cha-chee. Is that the noise that cow makes?
Cha-chee.
Cha-chee. Cha-chee.
Cha-chee.
A little known fact, that's why you say cheese. It just got changed over time.
Say cha-cheese.
Cha-cheese.
Okay, here's some GH5S footage with the SLR Magic Hyper Prime.
It's a Hyper Prime.
I don't know. If I pull focus really close to the camera, the depth of field gets super shallow. So if I'm focused on your eye, like right here, even the headphones are out of focus.
Wow.
I noticed the effect quite a lot when I was looking at this dog cage right here. Like I'm focused at the top of the cage, but you can see even just like an inch past that, it starts getting pretty soft. And by the time you get down to the floor, it's completely out of focus. So I've talked a lot about anamorphic lenses in the past, and you can see that this is distorting the image so that when you stretch it back out, it is wider. And one of the ways to make sure that your lens is lined up properly is by shining a light into it so you can see the horizontal flares and then aligning the flares horizontally. So that should be good. So here's an anamorphic image.
Whoa, look at how wide.
I don't think I can get any closer than that. Maybe if I pull focus here, kind of.
Oh, I feel a yawn.
Ooh, a Katelyn yawn.
An anamorphic. How special is that?
This is Abi and Dog in beautiful anamorphic. Oh, it's too dark in here. Hold on.
It's always
Hold on. I can increase the ISO. There we go. Now we can see. Focus with this thing is tough. I think that's in focus. Can't tell if maybe it's going soft on the edges.
Juno's like, I don't care, let me see. Juno, you're always so camera ready. You're like, yes, let me look directly into the lens.
It's pretty soft around the edges, but I think maybe in the middle it's sort of crisp. In general, I guess we just can't get very close to things with the anamorphic adapter on. Right, dog?
Couldn't in general, it's so huge.
We just pulled the footage into Premiere to see what the anamorphic stuff looks like. There's some vignetting happening. Some people like that. It's an artistic choice. I'm very interested in how out of focus it stayed close up. It's still pretty smeary, even in the middle. Lensers are so weird. But I guess I just can't get very close to things with that anamorphic adapter. I'm gonna show you a comparison of with and without the anamorphic lens using this anamorphic adapter for iPhone 6. Normally I would use the GH5S with that anamorphic adapter that we put on there, but it's really hard to not change the frame when taking that honkin' thing off and on. Just as a quick refresher course, let's say this is the shape of the sensor in your camera. It collects light from the environment in this shape with a regular lens, so all of that light goes onto the sensor, and then that goes into your computer somehow, and you end up with an image that is like that. With an anamorphic lens, you have the same size sensor or same size piece of film or whatever, but your anamorphic lens lets you capture a wider angle of light. All of that gets squished onto the same sensor. It gets compressed horizontally, and then in your computer, you can stretch it back out, so you end up with a wide image like this. A side effect of the way that these things are shaped means you get really J.J. Abrams style streaky horizontal flares from lights, and when things blur out in the background, instead of blurring kind of circularly, they blur kind of oval like that. So this is the regular 16:9 frame. We can see part of this desk over here on the left, and then just up to Katelyn's headphones on her desk over there. And put the anamorphic adapter on, we can see that whole computer over there, and then much more of what's on Katelyn's desk. And that thing on the lamp up there. Hey! We've uploaded, I think, 4 McMillan videos over the last 24 hours, so that's pretty exciting. For us to keep on schedule, we need to be uploading one every day between now and VidCon. Right now, we are 1 day ahead of that schedule, which is good. Hopefully, we can stay that way. I just discovered something neat. This is the Fiutech thing that was given to us forever ago.
Yep.
I don't think I have charged this thing in a year.
Yeah.
And it turns on. I remember what I don't like about this Fiutech thing. It gets tilted and then it never rights itself until you turn it off and turn it back on again.
Like that? It seems
Yeah, it's all to the left.
to the left.
I'm jumping.
Everything you own in a box to the left.
Kelsey. What are we doing?
We're going to the Bon Iver concert because he's really good. It's real good. It's real good. And
I don't really know anything about him.
so I wouldn't say he's my Linkin Park, but what's like your second or third favorite? I mean, I don't even know if I have a first favorite.
I don't really like favorites in general, because sometimes there's music that I want to listen to more than even Linkin Park.
Well, okay.
It's just all about the mood, you know?
This is like sad feels mood, like really emotional, like I'm gonna cry, it's so good, like yes.
Are you going to cry during this concert?
If he plays a certain song, probably. Two songs.
Kelsey bought me some Pure Protein birthday cake bars. We'll see how these compare to the one bars. It smells more frosting-y than the other ones, and it's got the sprinkles from like the animal cookies. It's tougher. This one tastes more protein bar-y than the other one does. It's alright. 3 stars.
To get around this, I guess.
What perfect weather for an outdoor amphitheater. If you can hear that hum, that's the sound of a Bitcoin mining center, which is in that building, and all of the cooling that they have to do because of the heat generated by the computers doing the stuff causes this constant buzz. We just saw a sign on one of the posts back there. It's like a call to action for the neighborhood to rail against the noise.
It said noise was bad for the children. Noise is bad for growing children. I was like, noise isn't bad.
It's annoying though. It's annoying. So here's the venue. Stage is down there. There's this big lawn up here that's kind of open seating for people. It's wet.
Oh, yeah, it's wet. It's wet here.
It's a nice venue though.
I'd like to point out that you're wearing a hat and a hood, and you won't let me wear your hat.
It's my hat.
Best ones, y'all. Thank you. We love you guys.
Well, that was a wet concert.
It was. My hair's soaking.
I don't know much about Bon Iver.
Yeah.
And you were saying that most of the music at the beginning of the concert was from his newer stuff.
Yeah, his newest album.
Most of the new stuff
Is shitty.
It seemed like almost every one of those songs felt to me like an extended intro to a song, but it never actually gets to the song. It's like building up to something, and then it ends. And then I was like, where's the climax? We were getting there.
It's also just a bunch of like techno gargly jumble, which I'm not a huge fan of, because like all of his other albums is like really beautifully sung, well done music, like just stuff that you would sit in a cabin and listen to, like watching the snow fall, like very peaceful, like introspective music. And then this new stuff's a little wild.
I liked the sonic textures of the beginning of the concert.
Oh, you liked it?
I think the song structures were not my cup of tea, but just like the instrumentation and the kinds of sounds being used, I was into. Everything is super foggy.
I know.